Let's go to Bill in Michigan, works for Homeland Security, he says. Then we'll go to Jason. Bill, what's your take on all these crises?
Well, Alex, first, thanks for taking my call, and thanks for what you're doing. My take on all of these is I think that basically what they're going to end up doing is they're going to continue to paint the opposition and the libertarians and constitutionalists as extremists, and I think that they're going to eventually say that we are basically the largest threat to the homeland and that we need to be eliminated. I don't know what they're going to do it. I thought that Clive and Bunny's Ranch could have been it, but I think they're waiting for another circumstance like Clive and Bunny's Ranch, and I think they're going to have a false flag and they're going to fire a shot. They're going to blame it on the Patriot, and then that's what's basically going to start the takedown of the right wing. I've been seeing a lot of stuff at work where they're basically painting us as more and more as extremists. I just saw a bulletin today that the right-wing extremists, quote, like Oathkeepers and the 3% are on a terrorism watch list. And it was really scary because I fit all the parameters that they're talking about, as so do you. So I think that's what they're doing. That's what they're planning to do to us.
Yeah, well, that's an escalation to say on a terror watch list. That's actionable. Man, if you could somehow snail mail us that or get us that info, that would be national news. We've gotten similar info many times, but nothing to that level. They actually said terrorism watch list.
It was a law enforcement sensitive terrorism alert newsletter, and they specifically talked about Oathkeepers and 3% that showed up at Clive and Bundy's Ranch and how we are getting more and more militant and more of a threat to law enforcement and the government, and I can absolutely send that to you.
Oh, well, please. And if you've got a safe email to send it or something else as well, send it to showtips@infowars.com with the information, in the byline. And I really appreciate your call. Anything else that you think is important to add?
I just think that, we got to be careful with who we're associating with. I believe that they have been putting plants into our groups.
Oh, yeah.
So be careful, Be careful what you say to people, and be careful, to not say anything that could be used against you. Because we all know that we want to, restore the Constitution in a nonviolent way. We know that. But they're trying to paint us as basically Al-Qaeda. So just basically watch your backs, watch what you guys say.
Sure. Let me ask you this. Is this propaganda having any reverse effect on people in there? Are folks inside Homeland Security realizing, like they are in the military that I talked to, this is authoritarianism?
Yeah, a lot of people see it, Alex. And to be quite honest with you, I'm seeing more and more people, just grunt workers within the agency, that are starting to wake up.
Hold on. I'm going to come back to you in 60 seconds. Don't hang up, Bill. This is an important phone call. I'm going to go to Jason and others.
GCN, the Genesis
I've walked by federal buildings in Dallas and Austin, and people are cheering me, and they're feds. Alex Jones here for Infowars.com. In Michigan, you're saying you work for Homeland Security, and they've really ratcheted up the rhetoric against anybody right of Stalin. That's publicly going on as well, but specifically, saying they're terrorists, if you're in the Tea Party, basically, that's Harry Reid driving that ship. And that's the Southern Poverty Law Center, that if you're a pro-life group, they call you terrorist. The difference is they're now, as you said, moving Homeland Security from a mission of going after Al-Qaeda to the American people. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, that's really what I'm getting at. And they're trying to turn the rest of Homeland Security against American ideals. And Alex, there's one thing I want to say about the Border Patrol, too. I know the Border Patrol has done a lot of crappy things, but I just want to let you know that I have a lot of friends on the southwest border, and they are on our side 100%. They feel like the government has abandoned them. They feel like they are dying for nothing. And especially they think about people like Brian Terry and Robert Rose's Border Patrol.
I want to be clear. It's a constitutional federal agency. It's one of the hardest working, best agencies out of a sea of problems. They are night and day compared to, say, like the TSA. And they just work really hard. It's really rough. I know that. And I get critical when they're messing with citizens 80 miles into the country. And they're under attack, and the system's trying to demoralize them right now. We need to support them. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, Alex. And, there are still some, constitutional agencies that work under the enumerated powers. And my specific bureau of DHS has been around for about 200 years. So you could probably figure out why it worked. But it is also an enumerated power. But, you know, yeah. Not
well, are you in the Navy? Are you in the Coast Guard?
No. It's with Homeland Security.
It's Customs?
There you go. You guessed it. Yeah, I've been around since 1796. So, yeah.
Yeah, when you said 200 years, I knew. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, they put that mark on my deal in Houston to really search my stuff and tear it apart. And the people there just said, this is pure crap. We're not doing it. I mean, in Houston, that's how crazy it is, where they have robot machines now removing the people. And then they can just put me on a list and not even let me in the country in the future. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I do, and you can also be put on a list, and you will never be told that you were on the list. You could be searched every single time, and they will tell you that it was random, but in secret, you're on a list. The system is called the Treasury Enforcement Communication System. The acronym is TEX. That's what they use for their silent hits on people, and I bet you have one. I would search you and look you up, but I guarantee you they'd find me. But you're probably on there. And that's what they do, and it's unconstitutional to do that to U.S. citizens. That was designed.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, I have no criminal record, and I'm not doing anything illegal, and they all know that, and I'm watching illegals just walk right past me, and it's just pure bull. And this is the authoritarianism, and it's just getting started. All right, we're going to get to Jason, but then Derek, Andrew, Paul, and many others. Stay with us. We'll be back.